And we're back in Florida after a long, long awaited vacation in California, and I'm back in the grind. So right now I got some 93.7 lean beef cooking up. It's 1 pound, so it totals up to about 680 calories, give or take. So let's say 700, and this is about 92 grams of protein, so quite a bit for a big final dinner. And during the past 2 months, I've been cutting down from about 190, like mid 190s, to now I am about 180. So right now, my goal is to stay at this weight for a while to see how strong I am at this weight, and I'm going to use that as a benchmark to basically bulk up back to 190 again, like I was before, and to see how much I can improve. So the goal is to be as strong or even stronger than I was at my peak, which was like 195, while at being at 190. So that's how you see like actual progress and see evidence of muscle gain. But let's see what I am at right now. Last I checked, I was like barely scratching 170. So let me see. Yeah, so right now I am 180.6, so basically 180. So we'll see how my one rep maxes go, and hopefully it's good. And I haven't weighed this much since basically college. The last time I weighed about 180, I think my max bench was 265, and then my squat was like really bad. It was like 335, and then my deadlift was about 405 to 425. So we'll see how that goes. Right now, I think I could still squat 405. I think I could still bench 295, and I still think I could deadlift maybe 455 to 475. So we'll see how that goes. Because eventually, I would like to increase those maxes up once I bulk up back to 195 or 190-ish. So I would like to hit maybe a 325 to 335 bench, a 455 squat, and possibly a 515 deadlift. So basically 3 plates out of 10 on bench, 4 plates out of 25 on squat, and 5 plates out of 10 on deadlift. So that is my main goal. All right, so we're at crunch. I weighed in today at 178.7. So I'm a slightly less heavy than I was a day before, but that's okay because we are testing out our new 1 rep maxes at this lower body weight, so that when I get up to 190, 195, we will try to squat, bench, deadlift higher numbers. So today is squat. We're going to try to hit 405 at sub 180 pounds. So it sounds kind of doable. So we'll see. Because eventually I do want to squat 4 plates and 25. So let's do that. Let's get one good rep of 405. All right, so good news, I was able to squat 405 at 178. Bad news is it was slow as fucking shit. That was such a hard rep, and I feel like my form was just so off during that 1 rep. But we got it, so that's good. 405 squat at 178 is a pretty good ratio in my opinion. So tomorrow we will be testing our 1 rep max on bench tomorrow at 178. I hope I could get 285 to 295 at this body weight. I think that's possible. But if I can do that at this body weight, that's a really good predictor of how I will be once I bulk up to 190 and so on. So we are doing bench tomorrow, but today, not bad at all. All right, so today is Thursday, a full day after my squat max out at 178. Today I weighed in at 179, so I'm still sub 180. Today we're gonna test out our max bench, which I'm kind of excited for, but also kind of nervous for because I'm worried that like I lost a lot of strength and I won't be able to put up good numbers anymore. But we will see. Right now I just finished doing some online lectures. It's super cold in the library, so right now I'm just sitting in my heated car, engine's not on, and it's in the Florida heat. I just need to warm up because I felt my fingers like freezing, getting stiff in there. And being super cold isn't, in my opinion, the best for lifting. Usually if it's like 70 to 80, sometimes even like 81, I feel like my body's like optimal for like pushing stuff, moving a lot of mass. I don't know, when it's too cold I just can't function, but when it's too hot, obviously I just start perfusing and it just feels like shit. So hopefully I'm just gonna wait in this car until I feel like my body temperature is more regulated, and then we'll head into crunch. Okay, so not a bad bench press for being under 180. I would say 290 is pretty good. That's like a 1.61 times body weight, which in my opinion, if you're above 1.5 body weight for a bench press, you're doing great. You're doing solid in the gym. You're seasoned. You know how to bench press. I do kind of wish that I got 295 today, because that would have been more aesthetic of a lift, because that would be 2 plates and a 35. That would look pretty cool. But I had some weird shit. I had to do like a 2 plates, a 25, a 5, and then a 2.5. So it didn't look that nice, but hey, I got it though. However, I did heavily misgroove it. It did look really wobbly on the way down, and going back up, it looks really like nasty. Like there's no like tension. It was just like brute force, just shoving shit off of my chest. So I do wish the form was better on that 290 bench press, but hey, shit happens. You know, it's not the end of the world. And another thing I want to try at this body weight is to see how many reps of 100s on the dumbbells I could do for incline bench press, because that was a huge goal for me, and I would like to hit it again, because in my opinion, if you could hit those 100-pound solid ass dumbbells on incline bench, that's how you know you're a good bencher. Like if you know, there's one thing is to, you know, bench heavy on the flat barbell, but if you're lifting crazy shit on the incline with dumbbells, that means you're really good at stability, you're really good at pressing, you're really good at bench press. So let's see how I could do that, if I could do that next time in the next chest day. So that'll be probably later on into the video, after I do my 1 rep max of the deadlift at this body weight. Okay, so my legs are shot as fuck from that squat day and leg day, because I also did like V squats, as well as like general like hip adductions, as well as like hamstring curls. So my legs are absolutely fried. I haven't hit legs that hard in over a month, so I maybe need another rest day to recover before I attempt a max deadlift. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a separate day where I just do shoulders, basic shoulders. This will basically help me recover my lower body and my CNS a little bit, so I can have time to recover, stretch, and whatnot. So let's see if I can match my strength with shoulders, like dumbbell press. And at my peak bulk, I was hitting the 75s for like 13 to 14 reps. So if I could get 10 to 12, that'd be pretty solid at 179-ish. So let's go. So it's currently Sunday, and today we are doing the max deadlift at 179. Here, I'll show you my weight right now. But I feel like my legs are still like about to explode from the leg day I did when I hit 405. And that's because after I did that 405, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this already, but I did so much more volume afterwards, and I just feel like destroyed. So I took a rest day in addition to my regular like workout split. So I had 3 days to recover and a rest day. So I'm 4 days after that leg day, and I still feel like shit. The posterior chain feels kind of okay, but my quads feel like they're about to explode. So we're gonna see how that might interfere with my deadlift today. So we'll see. After my deadlift today, I'm planning on doing a full back day, because there's no way I'm fucking hitting quads or squats after my deadlift. So I'll just do like a posterior chain kind of day where I do deadlifts, and then I do like weighted pulls and shit. If you're wondering what that sound is, it is just that in the background. So yeah. So today's weight is, it's It's kind of hard to adjust, but it's 179.1. I haven't went to the bathroom. I haven't done number 2 in about like 48 hours, so it could be like 178 in actuality. But yeah, so let's just say it's 179 today. All right, am I feeling good about the deadlift? How did I feel about the 75s for 12? That shit was like so rough, very bad form. But, you know, I did it anyway, so whatever. We're here, we have a deadlift to do today. Hopefully I could get 475. I think I can hit 475, but it's just the issue is that my legs are still fucking shot as fuck. I feel like my IT band is very tight and very stiff, and my quads are still destroyed and about to explode. But my posterior chain feels slightly okay, so we'll see how 405 goes, and we'll just move up from there. So as you can see, my deadlift was not optimal. A little bit of hitching on fucking 455. I haven't struggled that much with 455 like since 2 years ago. So I guess I will say that if I was fully rested, didn't do a crazy ass leg day, didn't do like full glutes and quads that day, and was completely fresh, I probably would have gotten like maybe 10 to 20 pounds more, so like 465, 475. But when I was pulling that 455, I felt like everything was about to rip out of my fucking joints. I felt like my glutes, my hamstrings, my quads were all about to explode, and I just couldn't like fathom the idea of like moving up from 455. So I know this sounds like cope, but I think I could have gotten 465, 475 if I was fully rested and was not sore as shit. So we'll just leave it as that for now. And right here, I'm eating one of my favorite meals of all time. I call it Gym Slop. It is a very easy dinner to make if you are a busy student or a busy like gym goer, frequenter. It's super simple, and it gives you a shitload of calories, a shitload of nutrients, a shitload of protein. What I use is 1 pound of 93 to 7 beef. So it's pretty lean. So that gives me 680 calories and 100 grams of protein. Plus the spinach, plus the rice, you might get like another 4 to 5 grams of protein. But if you include everything, this comes out to about, I want to say 105 grams of protein and about 1,200 calories, which is really not that bad. And rice itself, I didn't use too much rice because, you know, I'm still like in a low cut era, but that will change soon. But it's a very simple and easy meal to make. You just throw on a slab of meat, throw in your vegetables, and then cook it until it's brown. Throw it on top of some rice, and you got a pretty balanced meal, I gotta say. You got your vegetables, you got your protein, and you got your grains. All right, quick talk since this video is getting a little long and there's a lot of lifting in this video. So I just wanted to say, you guys remember bench gym videos, but I'm pretty sure I've talked about this guy in a previous video, but this guy was like the craziest like Instagram like fitness influencer ever. He would just like go to the gym, lift like crazy amounts of weights, but like with the craziest form, craziest ego lifting. But then he would just go home and eat like a whole bunch of like mac and cheese, like hot dog, and a whole bunch of like burgers and like crazy shit, like frozen food. I'm like, dude, this guy's like fucking nuts. He's like eating whatever the fuck, lifting whatever the fuck. He just like went with this flow. And like at his very like initial like stages of his like fame, he was like very hated on because for obvious reasons. He was like lifting crazy and shit and eating like crazy like, you know, generic American fast food and junk food. But then he just got like kind of like famous, and everyone just went along with it. He was like, oh shit, this guy's like just fucking doing whatever the hell he wants. And that brings me to today's topic. Today's topic is role models. So I don't really know how much of a role model I am per se, but I do know that it is important to find role models in your life, not only through, you know, like your childhood, but also through your career. And one of the most difficult rotations I've done so far, I haven't done that many rotations, but pediatrics was probably the most difficult one I've done so far. And that's because I had a role model. I won't say his name because, you know, privacy. But this doctor would have me go, arrive at 8 a.m. and stay up to like 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. some days. And he expected me to do a lot, not only to see patients, but to also do a lot of reading. Not the assigned reading that the school gave us, but to do assigned readings that he did when he was in medical school. And he gave me a whole bunch of textbooks, and he'd say, oh, read these chapters, and talk to me about them. And then after that, we would have these discussions that lasted up to 2 hours after clinic ended, so after 5 p.m. And we would just go over different cases, and then he would be like, okay, now do some research on this medication, do some research on these other conditions that you haven't seen today, but what if the kid actually did have these conditions? And we would basically go back and forth, talk about a whole bunch of things, and I was exhausted as shit. Because I've been there for like 11 hours, and we would just go back and forth talking about different cases, different medications, different research papers, and it would take a very long time. I would wake up before the sun rose, and I would get home after the sun set. So I was exhausted as shit, and he could see that I was tired as shit. Like I would be like really like dead inside. Like you could see it in my eyes. I was exhausted. I was like damn, I don't know if I could talk about this anymore. I just want to go home, eat dinner, and go to sleep. I was so tired, and not gonna lie. Like when I had that energy like all day long, especially after like 4 p.m., I would just start getting tired and having to stay there for another like 3 hours. You could see that I was tired. You could see that I kind of like was burning out right there. But nonetheless, I persisted, and I thought he hated me for that. Like hated my lack of energy for being so tired and for being like less energetic throughout the day and during our discussions. But I guess the one thing that kept me going and kept me like staying there and discussing shit with him is that his like pure like unadulterated passion for helping kids. And as a pediatrician, he was like working there for like 30 years or so. And every day he like I can tell that he was also very sleep deprived and also very tired, but he gave so much of a shit about every single patient, treated every single patient as if they were his own kid. He loved every kid, treated them with the respect that they deserved, and wanted to keep up with them. Like, how are you doing? How's school? Oh, yeah. Like, oh, I remember you wanted to go out for that baseball team and try out, and you did. Awesome work. And he gave so much of a shit about every single patient, and he, like, regardless of how tired he was, he would show up and be there for them. And I guess he kind of maybe saw a little bit of that in me as well, where I know regardless of how tired I would still show up to the rotation. I would still show up on time, early as fuck, and I would stay after hours until 7 p.m. and just talk about stuff with him, because I think he wanted that in students. He wanted students to really be passionate regardless of how tired they are, and to show up no matter how they're feeling. And I think that's what really mattered to him, because he ended up giving me a score that was really high on my student evaluation. I thought he was going to hate me because of how tired I was, but I don't think that's the reason that, I don't think that's what his fucking mindset was. I think his mindset was, this kid is tired of shit, but he's showing up and he's talking through these topics with me, and he's showing up during the patient encounters, and he's doing his best, and he is still able to learn a lot from me. And I think that's what really matters in a student. So yeah. And in conclusion, basically the way that you find a role model is that you find a role model that is really, really passionate about what they do, like completely 100% all in what they do as either lifter or a physician or a pediatrician. You want to find someone who really gives it their all, has absolutely no doubts of what they want to do in life and how they do it. And you want to find a role model who wants to replicate that same feeling of passion and persistence within you as well. And that's really how, I guess, I think that was my main takeaway from pediatrics. I mean, of course, I learned a lot about like microbiology, like how to like the purpose of lumbar puncture and things like that. I really learned a lot about that, the medicine behind it. But I think the main thing that pediatrics taught me was that level of persistence, that insane level of hard work and passion that you have for your patients. And that's what I will always take away and remember, and will carry that on with me for the rest of my medical school career and education. So yeah, find a good role model.